Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clint Zoka, and welcome back to another of my thoughts on. Today, I'm just going to talk about The House with a Clock in Its Walls, which is based off a novel, of course. And I believe this is the second film with Jack Black to be in a film based off a book series. The first, but I know it won't be the last, is Goosebumps. I was going to watch that film for this, but coincidentally, the second Goosebumps is coming out, and I'm pretty sure Jack Black is returning, but I don't think he's going to physically appear. I think he's going to return to voice Slappy, the puppet. I think it's because he was busy with this film and probably Jumanji. I don't know. But this could be considered the spin-off to to Goosebumps. Alright, so it's about this kid who goes to live with his uncle Jonathan, played by Jack Black, who is a magical warlock who knows a lot about magic, and with his friend Miss Zimmerman, played by Kate Blanchett, who is I believe she's a witch. And they both look after him while they teach him some new tricks and figure out what's causing the clock in the walls to stop. They think it's something to do with a scientist, a friend who wanted to get power from inside the house that they live in, which is, and then Isaac Izzard, played by Kyle McLeod. He's from Dune. He's from the Flintstones movie, and he's the dad from Inside Out. So after some convenience, Lewis, Jonathan, Miss Zimmerman have to find a way to stop the clock from exploding and something destroying the house. Something about Isaac Izzard, and then he's at school as well. And okay, let me get this out of the way. This movie is pretty much what you expect. A loser or a kid that's special goes and stays with his uncle's place because his parents passed away. Then he goes to school and he's treated like an outcast. And when he makes a new friend, the friend betrays him. And then when they mention a name, the person who's dead, and then something happens to the person who's dead, and then they bring him back, and then he turns out to be the villain. And then some convoluted plan. And then they have to try and fight back, and the villain will get defeated, and then things will be happy rainbows. Yeah, this movie is not all that original, and I mean, from what I see in the trailer, it had potential. It could have been an original, fantastic film, but it's not. I don't hate the movie. I think it's good. It's perfectly fine, but execution-wise is pretty much it's like you know what's going to happen. It's nothing special. It's just kind of straightforward and basic. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. It never bored me. But it's just nothing. There's no surprises anywhere. When they reveal who that character is, I immediately know who it is, and it's not all that surprising. And for someone who has directed horror films, yes, this is directed by Eli Roth, who directed a couple of indie horror films. I think the last one was, I think, Green Inferno, but that's something. Here, he's trying to have his take on. Well, I wouldn't say this is a kids' film. I say fantasy because Yeah, it's a kids' film, but I think this movie should have been a PG and a 12A, to be honest. But comedy. The comedy is pretty much also what you expect. I mean, granted, there was a couple of times I laughed, but most of it is just related to like potty humor, just generic jokes. It's not laugh out loud, but it's laughable, I guess. Heck, it even has some emotional moments that don't really work since we don't have a very fleshed out cast. I'll get to that in a bit. It's not like bad writing or anything. It's just generic. Even with a even with a concept that has so much potential, the plot didn't do anything to bring in any surprises. Visuals. Well, if there's one thing that this film actually did better than the plot, and maybe the acting, is in fact the visuals. Eli Roth. It's hard to believe saying that from a film like this. This movie looks beautiful. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's very well shot. The house looks pretty good. It looks pretty haunting. It has a bit of a It feel, I guess, or you could argue that it's pretty similar to Goosebumps. And no, I'm not just saying that because of Jack Black, but it's similar. Whenever the magic stuff happens, it gets quite creative and pretty colourful, actually. Sure, that there are actually a couple of times where it gets creepy and unsettling. And as much as I praise the special effects, there are some that are quite terrible, like Isaac Izzard's maker when he's really old. I won't spoil it, but the makeup or the CGI on him looks awful. And then there's one near the end that involves Jack Black, and that gets weird as well. That's another word to describe the movie. It's weird. The costumes on both Jack Black and Kate Blanchett, especially Kate Blanchett with her grey old lady hair, she looks very good. I mean, I like Kate Blanchett. I think she's a really beautiful and really, really talented actress, and I think she looks great here. Jack Black looks awesome. The kid, oh crap, I forgot his name. Jacob something. He was in the second Smurfs movie. I can't believe I'm saying that, but his costume looks pretty nice as well, and a couple of CGI moments that look pretty good, like the hedge in the form of a lion. That actually doesn't look that bad either. So points for good visuals. Will it get Oscar nominated? I don't think so. I mean, I won't mind. I mean, it deserves it, I guess. But at the same time, it's not the best since the rendering can look a bit, a bit cheap and a bit obvious to look at. Like, it doesn't quite fit in, and the makeup on Isaac Izzard, even if it's CGI or not, looks off-putting and unnatural. But overall, the visuals are good. Characters and acting. Our main character, Lewis, played by Jacob, I don't remember his second name, but he's a very likable character. I didn't really relate to him, but he was likable and, a little bit charming, and I guess you could say whimsical. This movie does have a bit of a whimsical tone to it, I guess. Not much to say there. But then the star power comes in. Jack Black as his uncle Jonathan. I actually like Jonathan only because he's played by Jack Black, and I think he's also likable and funny, and he has a lot of personality into him. And he's not like a bad guy. He definitely cares about Lewis and all that, and it definitely shows here. And then his neighbor, or I just presume love interest, Ms. Zimmerman, played by Kate Blanchett, is also likable, and she actually gets the big laughs out of me, and she has a distinct personality. Actually, the chemistry between Jack Black and Jonathan and Miss Zimmerman is actually really good. You can I would probably there probably would be another film that will probably mean that these two might get a love triangle. I don't know, but actually, before I go on to the other characters, right, I forgot to say this, but while their chemistry is strong throughout the film, I'm gonna have to say that after one point in the film where Jonathan makes one rule that Lewis doesn't break, guess what happens? After that point, that's when the film, I think, just becomes a bit generic and cliched. That's all I'm gonna say right now, right? Eddie Izzard is the villain, no surprise, of this feature, who's just a villain that's just doing villain things. Backstory is interesting, but not much coming out of him. Even he's... There's another character in there. I think it's his wife, but I have to look it up again. But she actually has a little bit of a better personality than Isaac Izzard. And then there's Jacob. I keep saying Jacob. There's Lewis's friend at school who looks like Finn Wolfgang from It and Stranger Things, who's more like the friend slash bully, I guess. I don't know. There's not much to him. He's just kind of there just to be Lewis's only friend. Then there's a girl in there who has no personality at all, barely has any screen time until near the end without spoiling anything, but that's why I'm saying there could be another one if this film does well. I just want to let you know right now, the movie's not out yet, but E1 Entertainment was nice enough to give us here in the UK an early release, the 15th, which is yesterday, and today the 16th. It doesn't come out until the 20th, or I think the 21st, I don't know. Right, but with that said, acting. Right, the kid who plays Lewis is excellent. Jacob is pretty fantastic here. He's better than the first movie, which I thought he was awful. I haven't seen The Room with Brie Larson. I think he might be good in that. I have to see. Yeah, but I thought he was fantastic. Jack Black and Kate Blanchett are having a blast with this, especially Jack Black. I really like Jack Black. I always found him very funny, and here, no exception. He is really damn funny here, and I always enjoy him when he's on screen. Kate Blanchett is charming and lovely, and she looks beautiful and all, and I really enjoy her. She's the one that actually gets the most laughs than Jack Black. Kyle Millard, I don't know. Despite a weak character, I think he's pretty good as Isaac Izzard. Everyone else does a grand job, but it's just those four stand out. I don't think there's really anyone else I recognise in the cast, but besides those four. So with characters with good chemistry, I think there's probably maybe one or two might have some good development. They're not all fleshed out. They're just basic tropes, but with some unique personality and some good development from most of them. Yeah, Goosebumps better. This is not a bad movie by any means. I enjoy it for what it was, but with a promising plot, with a premise that has lots of potential, just toned it down to just a fairly harmless and cliched film. The effects at times can look pretty cheap and even uncanny, and there are some characters who are just tropes. But the plot did start off interesting in the first act, but then it just got cliched in the half of the second act, and then the rest of the third act is where it fell down. The visuals do look quite wonderful and beautiful. The acting from especially Jack Black and Cate Blanchett, is great. Even the kid who plays Lewis is fantastic, with some good chemistry between Jonathan and Miss Zimmerman, and some pretty well developed and mostly pretty likable characters. If you like the novel and you think this movie will be good, it will depend. I've never read it, so it didn't bother me, but if you want to give this movie a chance, if you've read the novel and think this will be faithful, it's up to you. Give it a chance. Wait till it comes out. It could be good. It could be bad. I'm going to give this a 6.6 out of 10. Next, I'm going to do... I think Venom is next, which is not... I don't think it's out for a while, but I'm currently working on a review at the moment. I can't promise you when it will come out, but hopefully in a few weeks or so. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And until next time, bye for now.